For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Guys, today we have Achal Mogla sir with us, and he is the author of altogether 5 books. Thank you so much sir for coming on our show. It is highly honored कि आप हमारे show पर आए.
Thank you, Gaurav ji. Thank you for inviting me to your prestigious show, and it's an honor being here. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. So, sir, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your book, about your upcoming projects and everything, I would request you to please introduce yourself so that our listeners can know much more about you, and do let us know how you started this writing journey.
I am a full-time. I am a teacher by profession, and I started writing during the COVID phase. I used to initially write poems. I used to write poems on a regular basis, but during the COVID period, I thought of writing, stories. I started writing single stories, short stories. So during the COVID period, one of my friends, he inspired me that, you have written stories. Why don't you compile it and, write a collection of short stories? So this led me to the idea of writing, short stories together, different containing different emotions. Like, life is just like a dish. Just as a dish requires, salt and pepper to be in the right proportion, it has to be in the perfect blend of salt and pepper. So life also has various emotions attached to it, which if played perfectly, relationships matter. So this idea gave birth to the book Salt and Pepper. And during the COVID period, I started writing regularly, and gradually reading is my hobby as well. So apart from reading, as I ventured into writing, so this led to the completion of my first book, Salt and Pepper.
It's quite amazing, sir. So, sir, many readers will be listening to this podcast, and from asking from a new reader's perspective, what they can expect from your books. Can you share some insights?
From my books, basically, there are two genres that I am fond of writing of. First is fiction. I am fond writing of, which contains various short stories. And apart from fiction, motivational books are something which I myself, love reading. And the current generation and the new readers or the new writers, they should go in for motivational books, because they are, especially the self-help books, because in today's world where there's so much of stress and so much of running around and all, so everybody needs relaxation. So relaxation can be in the form of motivational books, inspiring one to do better as one moves ahead in life. So I feel that this genre is one of the upcoming and one of the most preferred genre, the motivational book. So my third book, Where Did I Go Up in Life? Living Life Without Excuses, that is one of the motivational books that I've written.
Okay. So, sir, there must be people we will be sharing on social media. You will be also sharing the content about this podcast. So many people will be your, regular readers who have read all your books, and what they can expect from you as of now. Is there anything in the pipeline you want to, experiment on some other genres, or you want to continue on this? What is the upcoming plans? Is there any?
Yeah, sure, Gaurav. Right now, I am in the process of, maybe writing another self-help book for him, for which I am, collecting the material. It's going to be about, in today's fast-paced world or fast-paced life, relationships are the most important in today's society, or in today's fast-moving world. Our society is gradually crumbling. So what is needed is, moral values, and apart from moral values, what's needed to sustain the family or the society is relationships. All of us in our lives have friends, family, and relationships are a part and parcel of everybody's life. So how to maintain your relationships, how to redefine relationships, and how to have the best of every relationship, so that at the end of the day you feel de-stressed and you are a contented and happy man in terms of your relationships. I mean, money is not everything. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
Money is
so true.
definitely important, but if one has a healthy family, or a family is said to be the support system of especially Indian culture, or even if you take Western culture as well, family is now slowly, the Western world is adapting Indian values, Indian culture. So family is said to be the rock stone of everything that one does, and for
Mhm.
that one needs to nurture one's relationship. So I'm probably concentrating on this topic, relationships, in my next book.
Okay, okay, okay. So, sir, my next question to this podcast is, let's say, like I have been in conversation with like around, as of now, 250 plus authors we have completed, and most of them are targeted to build a certain kind of brand, a certain kind of image in their readers' mind. So, when it comes to you, like, have you ever thought about this branding strategy or personal branding strategy? Like, okay, from a couple of years from now, if anyone who have read all your books and picks up, okay, it's a new book by Achal sir, then what's that sudden impact you want to create on the reader's mind कि अच्छा ठीक है अचल सर की बुक है तो मुझे ऐसा कुछ मिलेगा पढ़ने को, या ये फील होगा, या ऐसी बुक होगी? कभी सोचा है इस बारे में सर?
Gaurav ji, this is a very good question. Actually, brand image एक ऐसी चीज होती है जो it's something which is not purposely created by the author. It is a flow which is built in the mind of the readers as in one goes through the books of the reader. It can be of different genre or it can be of the same genre.
True.
But if you talk about building a brand image of me as an author, I would like to be, the brand image would be that every time the reader picks up a book of mine, he should read it with a fresh mind, and it should give him a new perspective in terms of life. Or maybe once he picks up my book and he finishes my book, he should gain something from that book in terms of having gained something which will help him in his daily life or in this stressful life. For example, if I'm writing genre related to motivational aspect, then in
Mhm.
that aspect, the reader should be, after reading my book, he should be compelled to think that, is that particular anything going on in his life which is similar to what is written in the book, and what can he do, or if his life is going perfectly fine, maybe in some particular aspect he's going haywire somewhere. So
Mhm.
maybe he can read my book, and perhaps he can correct, or he can still feel motivated that if he's on the right track, then he should go on the same right track as well. I mean, he doesn't need to change anything. Or in terms of writing short stories, for example, if I write a book on short stories, then the writer should feel as if he is carried on to another world, wherein he can somehow feel maybe that one of the stories has connected to a part of his or her life. So that's what brand image is all about, according to me, Gaurav ji.
Mhm. Okay. Good. So, sir, like, when was, like, in which year your first book was out?
This book, Salt and Pepper,
Mm-hmm.
this was out in COVID started roughly around 2019
Mm-hmm.
December. So my first book, Salt and Pepper, this was out in the year 2018.
Okay.
2018 March approximately I started writing. Before that 2017 I started writing,
Hmm.
editing and everything. So in the year 2018 it was launched, and that time I was very new in the industry. I did not know anything
Hmm.
about even writing, publishing, editing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it was a altogether new experience for me, Gauravji, and
Hmm.
the my first publisher also, he was new. So there are lots of things that I've learned from my first experience,
Hmm.
of writing the book,
True.
The Salt and Pepper. And the best part was that when this book got recognized by UQT Publishing as one of the best fiction books to read
Hmm.
under the top 30 category. So that was a really overwhelming moment for me. It
Hmm.
encouraged me to pursue writing as a
Definitely.
more serious hobby, and as a keep on continuing to write books as well.
Well, so, sir, my next question is related to this only. Like, after the first lockdown was over, the numbers of author got increased very rapidly. Like, we have been in this industry for more than 7+ years as of now, and we have seen that particular boom after the first lockdown also. Like, numbers of author got increased very rapidly. And as you are the person who has published or started writing before the lockdown was there, so what's your thinking as of now कि अपनी book को stand out कराना कितना मुश्किल हो गया really? Because publishing has become much more easy. KDP is there, literary agents are there, lots of publishing houses are there, as it was compared to earlier days में जैसे कि सिर्फ traditional publishing होती थी. So how
Right.
different it has become, like how evolved, how this industry has evolved आपके according.
Another very good question, Gaurav ji. See, industry right now, it's like, there's so much of competition. On an average, uh, I have read somewhere that on an average, approximately there are approximately 20,000 to 30,000 new books being published almost every day or every other day. So as an author, it becomes very difficult for the author. The main challenge that the author faces is marketing of the book. So right now, as you have mentioned, that post-COVID period, with so many authors writing so many new books, with so many new tools available, you have Kindle, you have other writing workshops going on wherein they teach you how to write, and there are so many other marketing strategies also wherein how to become a bestseller and all. So writing has become it's not only more challenging, but it has become easier also because there are so many people to guide you in terms of writing. But the real challenge comes in when after writing a book, it is like giving birth to a baby.
Yeah.
Giving birth to a baby is comparatively, it's easier, although the process is painful, it's tedious. But then the real part comes in when the baby grows up, when he's in his childhood years or when he's in his adolescence years, to raise him into a human being with proper moral and cultural values.
True.
Similarly, writing a book is like you have written a book. There are so many people who write a book, but then out of the whole lot, you have to ensure that your book reaches the right audience in the right manner, and out of the entire competition, your book has the specific impact that you have always wanted it to have. So it is like out of this huge competition, you have to make your book stand out. So marketing is the main challenge for any author. Be it he can do marketing through social media, or there are so many other options, but then you need really a slice of luck to make sure that your book reaches out to the right audience in the right hand. There are so many factors involved. Like the publisher should be right. The publisher should be, he understands what the book is all about. So it's all a combination of factors, Gaurav ji. So this is what I would like to say with regards to this question.
So as you shared, sir, like you are a full-time teacher as well, and so what's your particular writing schedule? Like, do you follow any particular writing schedule, or it's like random कि कभी कोई thought आया तो you just jot it down on your phone, on a diary, फिर बाद में बैठ के लिख रहे हैं? How does it goes with you?
Yeah, Gaurav ji. Actually, being a full-time teacher is that's also one of the while at the job also I interact with so many people, so that gives me ideas. But then when it comes to writing, maybe at the end of the day when I'm I have an idea in mind, so I jot it down in a diary, and then maybe over the weekends or as per my schedule, whenever I am free, I then think of expanding that idea, and then if that idea can be culminated into a full-time book. So it's random, there's no big schedule. As and when I meet people, or as and when if an idea comes to me, Gaurav ji, then I note it down, and then I expand on that idea and see if something can be worked out. So that is how it usually is, Gaurav ji.
Definitely. In fact, what I personally feel as well, that creativity is something which you can't chase as of now. It is something which will
I do
come to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's an. It depends on what it depends on your mood also. Like, suppose it's that time of the day when you're relaxed, and when you want to, when you're relaxed totally, then you can write something which will be in the flow. there'll be a continuous flow of words, there'll be a continuous flow of thoughts. So your atmosphere, your frame of mind, these are the factors also, which will help you when you sit down to write. When you are in a tense mood, somebody is in a tense mood, you cannot expect him to write because there would not be flow of words, or there would be abstraction of thoughts and so on and so forth. So I believe that such factors play a very important role. And apart from that, apart from reading, writing, I am also a handwriting analyst. So that also helps me perhaps understanding people's perspective. Although whenever I get the time, I do it, but that depends also on my schedule. So all these factors take into account in terms of writing.
Okay. So sir, now let's get back to the time, like when you heard, okay, tomorrow your first book will be out, it will be live, people will be able to judge you regarding your thoughts, everybody will be able to buy it, and so at that particular eve, what was going on in your mind? Like, were you relaxed? Were you excited? Have you just marked up some milestones? Okay, these many people know me. My book has to be sold out. These many copy in these days. Like, what was going on in your mind at that time?
Gauravji, the feeling of having the first copy of my first book in my own hands was like, it was like giving birth to a child and holding the baby in your own hands. So at that moment, when the book was in my own hands, the thought was not that of sales or something. Just the feeling of having the book in your hand and seeing your name printed on it itself was a achievement for me, because less than 1% of the world population, they actually are into writing and they have their books published. This I had read it somewhere. So that's 1% is a very small size of the whole population, but then that's a real achievement in terms of writing. Not everybody can write, and it takes a lot of courage to write. So when I had my first book out, my reaction was that at least it was a dream come true for me, because I had always I was into writing poems and all, but during the COVID era, I had taken writing seriously. I was inspired by my friends, college friends, and I was inspired by my parents, that I can maybe turn out to be I can try my hand at writing. So that was a tribute into them, that was an acknowledgement to them, that I could finally build up a book, or I could finally release a book which was written by me, had original stories, short stories written by me. So the feeling was great, Gauravji. And the sales and all, as I mentioned to you, I was new to the industry. So that was a part, or that was something which I learned later on, that, writing a book is much more easier as compared to, brand marketing it or selling it.
Well, that's completely, even, I just often say to my clients, okay, writing a book, publishing is almost, you can say, 40%. The main game, the majority portion is about marketing, how hard you are just doing to make it reach out to each and every people. Because even, there are often clients, there are often authors who says, my book is very good and it will, just publicity अपने आप हो जाएगी, सारी चीजें हो जाएंगी. But that comes when the other person is also in the fair play game. Like, the other person is marketing so rigorously, and even if you're not marketing, then also that person's book, will be sold out much more than yours. So,
yeah,
please.
That's what I was telling. Like, I agree with you, Gauravji, because होता क्या है publishing world में, especially in the Indian publishing industry, what the publishers do usually, they help the authors in writing the book maybe, or in editing the book, but when it comes to marketing, there's a big lacuna. And publishers usually, not all publishers, but then majority of the publishers, they are very respectable publishers, big publishers, who help in marketing, also very good marketing, and they help in making your book familiar and popular. But then when you're a struggling author, when you're a new author, you find it very difficult to find good publishers. So when you're new to the industry, the challenge is to get your book marketed properly. So sometimes what happens is, since you're new to the industry, publishers might promise you the sky or the moon, but at the end of it, you realize that कि कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, या फिर मार्केटिंग के नाम पे कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, यू हैव बीन मेड प्रोमिसेस बट वो हो नहीं पाया है, बिकॉज यू आर ए स्ट्रगलिंग ऑथर, यू आर ए एस्पायरिंग ऑथर. तो वो चीजें सीखने में टाइम लगा. दैट टुक मी टाइम टू रियलाइज दैट the world is not as nice as it seems in terms of making promises and then fulfilling them. So वो एक चीज I learned from the my this writing journey.
Definitely. In fact, what I have seen like in this industry, sir, like when it comes to just attracting the customer, the people are very rigorous, to be very honest.
Exactly.
Like I have seen. But when it comes to talking about the after sales services, the market is like completely like two sides of a different coin, of the same coin, sorry. Because जब
exactly,
आप ले रहे हो ना, तो वो इतनी वो अप्रोचेबल चीजें, तुरंत इंस्टेंट सारी चीजें करना, हाँ ये भी हो जाएगा, वो भी हो जाएगा, बहुत सारी चीजें. But when the customer asks कि okay ठीक है, everything is done, but so now there comes the hook part कि okay ये ऐसे नहीं हो सकता, ये ऐसे नहीं हो सकता, ये अभी बाद में होगा, ऐसे ऐसे करके बहुत सारी चीजें पब्लिशिंग डिपार्टमेंट हमने सुनी हुई हैं. But still, and in fact, when it comes to this particular podcast ना, like हम पहले authors को reviews provide करते थे, and publishing houses से हमारे contacts थे. But later on, like हमारा एक motivational channel भी था, हम motivational speaker as well. And तो हमें बहुत सारे जैसे पॉडकास्ट हमने स्टार्ट किए, तो बहुत सारे हमने लोगों को इनवाइट किया, फोटोग्राफर्स, ग्राफिक डिजाइनर्स, अलग अलग फील्ड से अलग अलग लोगों को. तो उस वक्त बहुत सारे ऑथर्स बोलते थे कि आप हमें भी बुलाएं. बट द मेन थिंग वाज कि व्हेन इट कम्स टू लिसनिंग टू ऑथर्स ना, वी नीड अ स्पेसिफिक ऑडियंस ऑफ रीडर्स जो स्पेसिफिक ऑथर को सुनना चाहें. सभी लोग नहीं सुनना चाहते. एग्जैक्टली. तो उस वजह से फिर हमने ये एक नया पॉडकास्ट रिलीज किया, रीडिंग द ऑथर. और सोल पर्पस यही था कि अगर इंडिया में लाइक हम आप तो इस इंडस्ट्री से जुड़े, हम लोग बहुत सारे ऑथर्स के नाम जानते होंगे, बट इतनी सारी बुक्स पब्लिश हो रही हैं, और अगर एक नॉर्मल आदमी से पूछ लो तो हार्डली 10 लोगों के भी नाम नहीं बता पाएगा. सो उस वजह से, और ये पॉडकास्ट वाली चीज काफी बूम पे है अभी इंडिया में, सारे ही लोग पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं. तो इस वजह से हमने फिर इसको चूज किया कि भाई जितने भी सिर्फ हमने आप फर्स्ट एपिसोड से लगाया अभी तक के जितने हमारे अराउंड 190-200 के आसपास एपिसोड्स हो गए,
जी.
आप जितने भी एपिसोड्स देखेंगे सर, हमने सिर्फ नए ऑथर्स को इसमें चूज किया हुआ है. नए ऑथर्स.
बट गौरव जी
जी
बिल्कुल, मतलब मैं वही कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ जो आप बोल रहे हैं कि आई मस्ट रियली कांग्रेचुलेट यू फॉर स्टार्टिंग दिस पॉडकास्ट अबाउट स्पेसिफिक ऑथर्स, बिकॉज ये एक बहुत निश चीज है, और ये काफी मायने रखती है फॉर बीइंग ए ऑथर. जब उनको अपना दे गेट द वर्ल्ड कम्स टू नो अबाउट देम, और रादर ए स्पेसिफिक पार्ट ऑफ द कम्युनिटी कम्स टू नो अबाउट इट. सो ये बहुत अच्छी चीज है, बहुत अप्रिशिएबल चीज है जो आपने शुरू की है. And I must, it's a really commendable effort from your end and your team.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, my last question of this podcast is like, after listening to this podcast, many people will start writing, or they must be holding their first draft in their hand in the laptop. So, what would be your advice to them, to those upcoming authors?
My advice to those upcoming authors, Gauravji, would be believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Dream big, and always be do not be afraid to try out whatever you want to do. It can be a passion, it can be either reading, it can be either writing, or it can be a hobby of yours, or something which you have always wanted to do. But आपको शुरू में you will be hesitant कि what will people say if I start this, or how will people react. But do not worry about them. When you have a passion, just go for it. And do not worry about the outcome. If you have persisted and you have sincere efforts, then your sincere efforts will always pay in the long run. And it is like, as they say that when an elephant walks, then the dogs bark. So it's a proverb. So basically, अगर आप अपने में विश्वास रखते हैं और आपको अपने टैलेंट पे विश्वास है, तो आपको दुनिया से डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. एंड डू नॉट थिंक अबाउट व्हाट अदर्स से. ड्रीम बिग, बिलीव इन योरसेल्फ, एंड जस्ट लिव लाइफ पॉजिटिवली. दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड से टू ऑल द इमर्जिंग ऑथर्स.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this lovely and inspiring conversation with Achal Mogla, sir. If you like this conversation,
Achal Mogla,
yes, sir. If you like this podcast, do follow our podcast. available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. आप जस्ट Amazon पे जाएं, वहाँ पे सर्च करें अचल मोगला, सर की सारी बुक्स आ जाएंगी, जरूर खरीदें, पढ़ें और अपने चाहने वाले जानने वाले जरूर शेयर करें. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on our show. It was my honor to be able to host you today.
Thank you so much, Gauravji, for inviting me to this wonderful platform, and wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thanks.